and has given a speech on speaking to entertain. So please bear with him as he tries to explain why he can see the lighter side of life. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Brown.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I do appreciate that intro. And I am doing the speech that it seems like everybody doesn't want to do. I have heard, as soon as I heard that, or told I was going to do this speech, I had numerous people, oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Because pretty much it's a stand-up routine, stand-up comedy routine. So it got me thinking, what's my history with stand-up comedy? What's my history of laughing? Where do I get this twisted sense of humor besides genetics? Well, my dad raised me on the Three Stooges. Every Sunday morning, I would get up, and we only had 3 channels, so, you know, you had to watch what the old man watched. So that's Three Stooges. And from there, I skipped and watched different things. Now, of course, my first thought of Beetlejuice is Michael Keaton and the movie that he was in. So really, Beetlejuice, the star, is the 4th thing that comes to mind when I hear Beetlejuice. Not the 2nd, not the 3rd, it's the 4th. Now, from there, HBO came out on cable. And HBO, most people were like, oh, that's when you start to see things that you're not supposed to see. Especially when you're in a house and you now have 2 TVs and the parents are watching a James Bond special or whatever, and you go in the back room, you turn the sound real low and you watch HBO, and there is Robin Williams. Robin Williams, when he died, that affected me. Because he was the guy that when I first turned on that HBO late at night, Robin Williams at the Met was the stand-up comedy. He was the one that got my attention. So from there, he's standing there making us laugh at things that everybody else takes seriously. So to me, my young, impressionable life is seeing this guy's making fun of stuff and people are laughing. I can do that. And so because of that, it infected me in such a way that I've got a really strange, twisted sense of humor. I'm the screwed up guy that's sitting there chuckling under his breath at a funeral because of, I knew the guy there and I knew he did something, but I can't just go, remember that time? Because it's a funeral, you're not supposed to. I'm the guy that chuckles at a wedding because you're not supposed to do it. And of course that makes it funnier and you just can't do it. But I'm that guy. I'm the guy that walks up to every morning wondering why I'm going into a fitness center that has moving doors. I mean, wouldn't you think that that would be the first step? It's like, look, okay, we're going to work out. Don't open the doors. No, it's automated. I'm the guy that makes fun of that. So as you go through, you start realizing maybe I'm just cynical. Maybe I'm the one that looks at things just a little bit off. And I don't have a problem with that. That's okay. Because I don't take things so seriously. I don't get upset when people try to put me down or think, because I'm not too worried about that. So if I can make somebody laugh, I can make myself laugh, it's bonus. I'm loving it. That's wonderful. So from Robin Williams, I started watching the other stand-up comedy. And from there, at that time period, Rodney Dangerfield was huge. He had just made it big. He had his movies. He had Back to School. He had his, and he would have the young comedians on. And these were the guys that were cutting edge. They made, they were hitting stuff that you shouldn't even talk about. So I'm watching Bill Hicks make fun of everything in our society, because if we can't make fun of our society, then why are we here? This is America. And his big thing was, we have to make fun of things. Now, obviously, he is dead now, unfortunately. But he struck a nerve with me because, as Salman Rushdie says, if things are so important that we cannot make fun of it, if it has such a status that it is impervious to humor or criticism or dispute, then free thought is impossible. And that was, again, another stage of stepping of we have to be able to make fun of things. Now, there are things that people say, you can't make fun of that, it's wrong. I will almost always give you a situation that you can make fun of things. Now, right now, I'm not going to do that because circumstances are a little different. But I'm the guy, if something twisted's out there, I'm probably the guy that's thinking it in his head. I may not say it out loud because I am, a little political sometimes, but there's almost always a situation that's out there. Now, through different stages of the comedy, we have different things because there's always something happening. And Steve Martin said, there's always something happening that can be contorted. And if things are always happening, it can be distorted. And once you have that happening, we can make fun of it. There's always something going on. So from there, of course, after Bill Hicks, you have Sam Kinison. Now, Sam Kinison was the guy that yelled at you a lot and screamed at you a lot. And most people, a lot of times, don't think of him anymore. Unfortunately, he died young also. And this generation doesn't see him as much as they used to. But because of the way he looked at dating and marriage and religion, that twisted me even further. So I'm convinced that the reason I got married at a late age and haven't been remarried since then is because of his influence of marriage and dating and everything. So just because it's something serious doesn't mean that we can't make fun of it. We have to make fun of it in some way, because if we don't, we're going to get hurt. I'm the screwed up guy when the family gets together and somebody talks about my mother, who I love and was a saint in my heart. But after she died, I'm the one that can still crack jokes that she would appreciate. Because if I can't, then she would be upset. And people and my family's like, they can't be mad at me because she would say the exact same thing if she was here. That's how screwed up it happened with us. And so because of that, humor and laughter has influenced my life in such a way that I'm sometimes seen as the guy that's a little off. But at the same time, I'm also not the guy that gets upset at things, screams and yells, and takes things so personally they have to worry about my blood pressure. So the final step, and I don't mean this like it's an ending step, but lately I've been rewatching George Carlin. I think it's because I'm getting older. And I know it sounds kind of screwy, but keep in mind, George Carlin didn't come into his own when he really got big because of all of a sudden, this resurgence. He admitted the reason he had to get back on the road is because of tax evasion. He was screwed over and he lost all his money. So he had all these taxes he had to pay back. Well, that embitters a person. So he had to go back on the road and he had to get, and so I look at it and I'm like, I'm not near his age at that time, but some of the stuff he says kind of catches my attention. And so as we age, the different comedy that we look at least in my situation, changes from where I was. I'm no longer that little kid who thought Robin Williams, deservedly so, was the best. He was great. But as I got older, my taste changed. My outlook changed. My circumstances in life have changed. And so because of that, what I'm looking at has changed. We all are going through these steps in our life. So as I was getting in my 20s, I looked at different people. I looked at Sam Kinison. I looked at that style. Then as I got older, I changed. And so throughout all of these points, laughter has never gone away. My idea of skewing the reality to be able to laugh at has never changed. I'm still going to be able to look at something and be the guy off to the side going, this is not right, something's a little off. But I also look at it as laughter is the best medicine. If we look at things so dire that we can't poke a little fun at it, if we look at things so bad that we can't see that we can't laugh at something, then what are we hoping for? If we hit a point that life is so bad that we can't turn around and just grin at how silly it looks sometimes, then what are we doing this for? I know it sounds kind of deep for an entertaining speech, but hopefully I can leave with just a little thought. Because humor is a rubber sword. Sometimes we can make a point without drawing blood. And we see it all the time in political humor and in societal humor where somebody's just trying to make fun of something that's so absurd to make you realize maybe we don't need a law that controls that. Maybe we don't need some super PAC to go after Congress to change things. Maybe if we look at things just to realize, why do we need that law? Why do we need this group controlling other people? And if we can do that, and if we can just help other people just see just a little bit of silver lining outside of what they're doing, we can help things through. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Steve. As always, Steve was one of the first guys that I heard when I first joined the club as well. And he was, he had a goal to complete, I believe at that time, the Competent Communicator when I first started the club, and now he's moving on to the more advanced speeches. And they get a little tougher as we go, but that's what the foundation is about, to help us build up to that. I'll be glad when I get to that point where I'll be able to do a speech of that nature, that length of time, because the time expands as well. And he's done a good job. And also, Steve is one of these 4